child custody still isn't rocket science. That's right. I said it. Let's get to it. Welcome back to another episode of Flawless Fatherhood. Hey guys, glad to have you here. We're going to jump right into it. We're back with child custody still isn't rocket science. Now look, I get it. To most of us it is, right? The vast majority of us fathers it is. Like dropping an engine and putting another one in there isn't rocket science to someone. But guess what? It's rocket science to me. So whatever a particular person has a passion about, it's not likely to be rocket science, right? Because your passion's in it. But that's why I'm here, guys, is to be able to, with this series, be able to give you strategic measures how to get an equal timeshare back, child custody back with your children in your children's lives, just as much or as more than the mother, okay? Now, this series is for the fathers that currently don't have custody of children. Or, hey, maybe it still may be informative to fathers that don't have children yet, so they can say, hey, I have to go through this. These are things I have to experience, so you can get some value out of this video as well. Remember, guys, to like this video, comment, and let me know what you think about the video, but most importantly, share it. Even if you don't share it on your social medias, share it via text with certain family members or friends that may need to hear this content. See, look, if you're listening to this video, either for one, you're here just to be a troll and you're hating, or two, you're passionate about being able to change this single mother epidemic and this fatherless narrative that we have in this country. All right? So, listen, we're all here, should be here for the same purpose. So we have to, kind of like how religion do. Oh, you're supposed to go out and recruit people and stuff, right? No, spread the word. That's how this narrative is going to change. Spread the word. If you really want to sock it to the family law, the current family law system, and the corrupt government as it pertains to time sharing and stuff like that, you want to stick it to them, share this type of content with others, because these strategic ways will be able to help change the narrative. All right, now let's just get into it. In the first episode, we talked about, it was a 3-step system to recover child custody, okay? Because let's even be honest, most fathers that don't have custody of their children, they're every other weekend parent. They probably have, Saturday through Sunday or Friday night through Sunday night, through up to Sunday night or something. 4 days a month. And they might have a weekday, maybe it be Wednesday, every other week they don't have the child. So let's say 4 to 6 nights, overnights a month. That's not enough. That's not enough to be a positive, impactful father in your children's lives. Let me tell you something. How can I put this? I'm in some fathers' rights groups, okay? And I see people saying, I see fathers, and I get it, do the best you can do, right? But when I see, my girl's graduated, or my son's doing this, this and that, I've always been here for him, and, I paid my last child support payment, and I'm thinking, like, you shouldn't have been on it in the first place. Or you shouldn't be, like, celebrating that, I just believe this. We've become way too comfortable, as parents, to feel like, you know what? I pay my child support so I take care of my kid. No, if you're not implementing in your child's life on a day-to-day as equally as the mother, your child will not be the best version of themselves. I said it. Your child, I don't care if he or she is making all A's. I know plenty of people that were freaking valedictorian in school, that score high in high school. Guess what? They didn't mount up to nothing. Some did, but majority of them didn't. A lot of them did. It's just scholastic. Man, I'm getting off on a damn tangent. Prioritize your children. People always chasing money, status. supposed to be the most important things in our lives, yet we're comfortable letting the mother raise them. That's out of pocket. I'm sick of that. Listen, don't just watch this just to watch it and be like, oh, what he's gonna say. If you're a father and you truly want your child in your life equally as the mom, implement these steps. It'll work. I'm gonna tell you why. Okay, so number one on the last video, in which you haven't seen the last video, to child custody isn't rocket science, I will pin it as a top comment and I will pin it in the description. But we spoke about recover more overnights. In that first part of the series, we spoke about finessing the mom, being able to give her advance notice to be like, hey, I got some movie tickets. I came up on some movie tickets for the kids, this and that. I'm going to take them out to the movies, this and that. I'm not going to bring them back. It'll be too late, so I'll just keep them at the pad, take them to school, or drop them off at your mom's house in the morning, maybe if it's a weekend, something along those lines. To be able to slowly recover overnights, her overnights, and you calculated and annotated, not just writing it on paper, man. When I say annotate and keep record, I mean like taking pictures at freaking the movie theater, taking pictures when you're out to eat, taking pictures of the kids when they're sleeping, when child sleep in the bed, and texting the moms like, look, he knocked out. And she say something along the lines of, oh, look at him, he is knocked out. He must have had a good time with you tonight. I say, yeah, he did. He knocked out. So that's good. I'm glad he's happy. Screenshot. You know what I'm saying? Screenshot that. You're glad he's happy. He had a good time with me on your night. You do those are type of things, and you just keep accumulating overnights to where you have 4 and 6, 6 to 8, 8 to 10, 10 to 12, 12 to 14. Trust me, these mothers out here want to be able to share the parenting, the majority of them. They just don't want to give up that child support money. Okay? And who would? Who would? When I was getting child support from my ex-wife, I ain't want to give it up, But I would have let her get the kid. I would have let her, if we had a daughter, I'd let her got the daughter, got our kids, even if she wanted them more, because like I said before, it was like, hey, look, hey, you don't just have to get the kids 4 days a month. Just let me know. I'll be able to, you'll be able to get them. Just know that. So I'm saying, if me being back then, I just wanted to secure my time to be able to raise them. But I was not against allowing her to get more than the 4 days a month. You see what I'm saying? But then I'm of sound mind. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a scorned woman using the kids as bait, too. That's another thing. And as leverage. But anyway, so recover more overnights was the first step. We talked about that, and I showed you different examples in the first video, how to recover more overnights, gave you different examples. So as you're recovering more overnights, this is where the good part comes in. This is where the good, tasty part come in at. This is where step 2 is you solidify and build a strong parenting case by acing the best interest of the child factors. Best interest of the child factors, what is that, Mr. 50? I'm going to tell you what that is. That's basically a standard that each state uses as it pertains to how a parent, guidelines for the parent regarding the child, okay, in layman's terms. So, now listen, they say best interest of the child. We want to do what's in the best interest of the child, of course, say, okay, we all know that's a lie, right? Because they created a system where the kids incentivized to lead a relationship and stuff like that and keep the kids. But really, they created a system to where fathers don't know how to behave and how to act, and they're out of position when it comes to actually being in position to keep their children an equal timeshare if the relationship ends. So I don't want to hear that about, the system. Look how they treat the veterans. They're out on the street, they're homeless, they're this and that. What make you think they give a crap about your fatherhood? That's another thing. To all you guys out there sitting out there voting, I'm going to get back on here. You sit out there voting and you're so hardcore to the left or right. You're so gung-ho, but neither one of those candidates are talking about or pushing for equal timeshare and being fair towards the father when it comes to custody and rights and time sharing. The most important things in our lives should be at the forefront, but you guys are worried about BS taxes, this, that, and the other, and everything else. See, that's the problem. They program us to worry about all other type of stuff instead of worry about our kids. We shouldn't be doggone voting for nothing unless you doggone put some parameters in place for equal time sharing. We ain't strong enough to do that, though. All right. So here, let me tell you about the best interest of the child factors. This is part 2 in the 3 steps to recover child custody. Like I said, there basically, each state has these guidelines for how a parent should demonstrate their standard of parenting regarding the child. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I feel as if these best interest of child factors, some states have 10, some states have 12, some states have 15, 16. And Florida got somewhere around about 13, 14, 15 of them or something like that. But I'm going to tell you something. I saw a few of the states' factors, and they're all essentially the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Outside maybe 1 or 2 or 3 different. But they're all essentially the same thing. But what it really boils down to, I'm going to give you this in layman's terms also, when it comes to the best interest of the child factors, basically, you have to show your level of parenting. You have to demonstrate how well you can parent with the other child, how well you can communicate, how active you are with the child. Not what you're going to do, okay? Demonstrate what you have done. That's why it's important that while you're retrieving the timeshare, strategically getting more timeshare, that's one part of the equation. But the other part is to increase communication, increase a good nurturing relationship for the child between mother and father, being able to put the child's best interest above your own. I'm going to go through a few of these factors, and I'm going to just talk about them, okay? And just to give you a little insight of what the factors are about. But what I'm going to tell you I'm going to do, while you guys should be working on recovering your timeshare and annotating the times, so you can do that for 6, 9 months. Hey, you can do it 6 months. As long as you create an environment, a time frame to where say, hey, look, I've had the child on average 12 to 13 nights for the past 6 months. That's what it boils down to. It boils down to overnights, gentlemen. A lot of people are like, oh, I see my kid 7 days a week. Well, how many times you stay with the child? Oh, maybe once. Well, guess what? The child is used to staying with the mother, so that's how we're going to keep it, and now you're every other weekend parent. That's how it was with me, guys. I never even signed a stupid birth certificate. Oh, they got everybody. Oh, birth certificate. Birth certificate is only an instrument to put you on the hook financially. It does not offer any time sharing rights. So I don't know why you're so geeked up in the signing. But I get it though, it's programming. I signed it too. But I was married though when I signed it. But guess what? When I was through my unwed relationship, I ain't signed that bit. I ain't signed it. I wasn't gonna sign it. Especially what was going on at that time, I wasn't gonna sign it. I had to make sure that was my baby first. Oh, y'all want to talk about that, huh? Yeah. My youngest son is now 10, finna be 11 next week. I was swabbing his mouth when he was 2.5 weeks old. A lot of you guys are like, oh, the court needs to do a DNA test. Why don't you freaking do it? She don't need to be involved. They already know she's the baby, and the baby busted up on her. They don't know. You don't know if you're the father. Go and buy the test, $39, $49 at Walgreens somewhere or CVS. Swab your mouth 4 or 5 times. Swab the baby mouth 4 times, 5 times. Put it in the thing. Send it in. Pay $150, $250. I don't know, whatever the processing fee may be for that particular lab processing fee, and find out if that's your child. It's countless of many of you guys out there that are paying child support for a child that's not yours. You guys are soft. You got to be 4 different guys at the same time, but you're weak up here and you let your old lady run you. You beholden to them. Oh, I'll do anything you say, honey. While she's doing what she want to do and using the kids against you. So, got me going off track. Let's talk about the best interest of the child factor. I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do, though. Within the upcoming weeks, I'm going to write down examples, basically a format of things you can do, and you can vary from it a little bit based on your situation, to where you can show and demonstrate how you've completed each one of the factors. Let's talk about one of the factors here for Florida. Letter A is demonstrate the demonstrated capacity and disposition of each parent to facilitate and encourage a close, continuing parent-child relationship, to honor time-sharing schedule, and to be reasonable when changes are required. Okay, that just basically means, hey, look, encourage a close and continuing parent-child relationship. So keeping each other involved when it comes to the child, even when you have the child or when you don't or whatever. Staying on good terms, not starting arguments or little nitpicky fights and stuff. Like, let me tell you something, guys. When you're not together anymore, man, you really should be. A lot of men, I know women do it too, but I'm just speaking on men for a second, for the most part here, because men suffer from it the most. You don't have your breakup, you don't have the woman anymore, and then the girlfriend and stuff, or the wife, or whatever, and you think about all the good times. Oh, I miss her. Oh, I miss when we used to do this together. I miss when we used to do that together. Oh my God, I miss her. I want to make it work. What people never, ever, or super rarely ever think about bringing to the occasion is, what about all the bad stuff? The negative stuff. The time she raised the voice at you. The times she disrespected you. The hella times she declined you intimacy. The times she disrespected you in front of people. What about those times? The negative times. You need to bring those up. And I tell you bring those to the front of the brain housing group. You be like, oh, yeah, I'm glad she's somebody else's problem. I developed that quick. So just being able to be in good terms and being able to honor the time sharing schedule. Now when they say honor the time sharing schedule, now let's be honest. A lot of single mothers, when they have the children, they use the children as a weapon against the child. Well, if you don't do this, if you don't buy more clothes, if you don't give me more money, I'm going to withhold the kids from you. And then what you have, no recourse, you call the police, they're going to say it's a family law issue or whatever, and there's no family judge authorities to come and take the kids during the time, whatever, it just don't work that way. So you have to go back into the system, open up a case, and they give her a little slap on the wrist, and then she keep doing it. So we have to make sure that we walk a fine line as fathers, and we demonstrate those parent-to-parent encouragement as best as we can. Let's go to C. Demonstrate the capacity and disposition of each parent to determine, consider, and act upon the needs of the child as opposed to the needs or desires of the parents. Now, I've talked about this before. When my child when the youngest son was younger, and his mother had her daughter bring him to me. Well, she brought him to me one day when he was out of seatbelt. He was probably like, I don't know, year and a half, maybe, so up in there, a little bit over a year and a half. So I saw that, and I strategically, mind you, she was like 17, and I'm grown, so I'm like upper 30s. So, well, 37 or whatever I was. And I texted her daughter and I said, hey, listen, be careful, make sure you drive safe. I want you to get pulled over like that, by not having the car seat. I want you to get a ticket when you just when you just got your license. She's like, oh, I know, Mama usually take it out of her car when she put it into my car, which Mama's second vehicle. But she forgot even before she went to work. So to me, it's like, hey, forgot Schmigat, or whatever. He got transported without a car seat, and he was like a year and a half years old. So that was wrong. So I said, okay, well, I just, just be careful, whatever this and that. She said, okay. I remember next time, whatever. It wasn't on her, it was really on the mom. So, and I screenshot that conversation. So I'm not going into a courtroom or building evidence saying, hey, look, she did this, she did that. Because they can go in there and just, throw accusations around. We can't. It don't hold water when we do it. So it's like, look, Judge, don't ask me nothing. Just look at it. Just look at it. Here go the text message. I ain't gotta tell you nothing. You can read the text message. You'll see it confirms with 100% certainty that she got rolled out seatbelt. But I'm leading to something here. What did I do? I mentioned this on the platform before. I actually went out and bought a car seat, paid $80 out of my own money, and for that car seat to go into her daughter's car. So they didn't have to swap car seats anymore. Now, was that my responsibility? That's really the mom, because she didn't want to have two cars. But I put my child's best interest above my own best interest by keeping that money in my pocket and having her do it. I wanted to make sure our son was safe. And that's what I did. Now, of course I took pictures of the car seat, the receipt and everything. Just staple that together and explain what happened with the text message. Boom. Let me tell you something. I know how to build a case. So trust me when I tell you, this is how you handle business. Now look, it's more than one way to skin a cat, right? But this is just exactly how I did it coming up without signing the birth certificate and everything else. So, as a non-custodial parent. So let's go to D. So again, I showed that I can put my child's best interest before my own. That was just one example. There are countless examples I had. But that was just one. I'll just give you an example. Let's go to letter D. The length and time a child has lived in a stable, satisfactory environment. This is very important. And this is how I got 50-50. You want to know how I got 50-50 with my son that's in an unwed relationship that I never signed a birth certificate for? You want to know how? Oh, and by the way, when I swapped my son out, obviously he was my son, so I didn't have to worry about if he wasn't my son. So, but you want to know how I got 50-50? Because from the time he got out of the hospital, me and her had not a verbal, but an agreement on text that we were going to have a routine to where he was going to be at my house, be at her house 4 nights, my house 3 nights. My house 4 nights the next week, her house 3 nights. We got a rotating 4-3 schedule, 3-4, 4-3 schedule. We basically had the same days, but we alternated Sunday evenings. So she was at my home, I was at her home, and she was breastfeeding overnight. When he was at my home, she was there breastfeeding. She was, whatever this, that, and he had his crib in my home, crib in her house. That went like that. That 50-50 schedule went like that from the time something happened between me and her. We officially broke up, and I went to the courtroom to issue to start paternity and get a joint custody agreement. Now, because I was by divorce the first time I went through the marriage. I knew those measures easily, but I didn't really know how to do it from the unwed side. But because the only thing I did was just jump in head first and establish the type of father I was, the first thing the courts look at, they won't tell you this. The first thing they look at is, what is the child used to? And I guarantee you, a lot of these times, you guys that were out, that you were in a relationship with a girlfriend and you had a child, and let's say if you weren't living together, the child was living with the mom. So whenever y'all break up officially, guess what? The court's gonna look at what the child used to. On top of you already not having your rights established and stuff like that. So it's what the child's used to. The child was used to being with me as overnights equally just as amount as her. It was nice when he got older. I was taking him to daycare when 6 months old, whatever, taking him to daycare when she wasn't even there. She would freeze milk. I would have the milk, you know what I'm saying, and do the whole thing. And this is my 3rd son. I knew how to do that. So I had demonstrated I could take care of him. So she couldn't say, oh, he doesn't know how to do this, so I don't trust him with him. I've had him equal overnights just like she did for over 1.5 years. so she didn't have that she could use against me. That's what was important. So when it comes to length, the child has lived in a stable, satisfactory environment. Guess what? I'm on the same plane as her. So she didn't have that over me. You know? And that's why a lot of the fathers, unaware fathers that don't have a child living with them, the mother has the advantage on that factor. Geographic viability of each of the parent. That basically means where the proximity or where the parents live in relation to the child. So if the mother lived with the child here or say in Orange County, Florida, you know, look, father, you can't be living in Georgia or Mississippi trying to get freaking 50-50 timeshare. It ain't gonna work. They got this little house bill that they passed last year. And in there, basically, it's like, hey, you have to move within 50 miles of the child in order to be eligible among some of the demonstrating factors to be able to seek 50-50 timeshare. So, yeah, you got to be close to the child. And it's unfortunate because a lot of fathers have these difficult jobs where they work overnight, or if they're a fireman, or if they're a doctor and they're on call a lot. Those type of jobs aren't going to help you when it comes to, in my opinion, you know what I'm saying, getting an equal timeshare custody. Still should try, you know, if you got to, you know, but if they find an angle where they cannot give it to you, the courts are going to do that. So geographic viability, being close to the child, you know, is very important. Let's say moral fitness of each parent, the mental and physical health of each parent. Let's talk about this one. The reasonable preference of the child, okay? Because this is a misconception here. I hear people all the time saying, oh, well, he or she's 16. They could be able to determine 13, 14, or 15, 16. They can decide where they want to go. Wrong. No child is going to get to determine, walk into a courtroom and say, hey, I don't care about what's going on here, judge, okay? With your little freaking black little robe on. I want to go with my dad now, okay? Shut this thing down. Drop the little gavel on there. I want to go with my dad. And we're getting up out of here, okay? All right. It don't work like that. It don't work like that. That decision is always made by the judge. Now, the judge considers that. He may consider that. But, and people come out here with this narrative saying, oh, child XYZ said he went in there, he wanted to be with his mama or be with his daddy, and then the judge let him. No, the judge let him not only because of that, because of other factors that was involved as well. So let's just get rid of that little preconceived notion. So it's important that you got to be able to demonstrate the day-to-day involvement with the children, okay? Even if you're an active father right now, you're listening to this video, you want to be able to show that you can handle prepping them dinner and food, breakfast, homework, maintaining a proper bedtime schedule, extracurricular activities, going to doctor's visits and stuff like that, knowing the teacher, knowing what the doctor's name and the teacher's name, going to parent-teacher conferences. Man, all these things I've been doing long before I had my third son. Long before. I always wanted to be the father that my father wasn't. That was all the motivation I needed. So that's just a few examples, guys. I get a little long with it. You know, y'all know how I get. Part 2 is solidifying and building a strong case by acing the best interest of the child factors. First is recovering more overnights, and while you're recovering overnights, you're building yourself a case, establishing your fatherhood and showing how well you can parent A through Z with all the factors, you know, as far as being there, being supportive, being active in their activities, and being knowledgeable about what's going on in their lives, school, extracurricular, and everything else. So if you do that, step 1, recover more overnights. Step 2, while you build up a case by acing the best interest of child factors, because I know I did. Once I got past all that legal jargon, because I know, you know, demonstrate the capacity and frequency of love and formula, it was like, it was too much. So once I really know how to navigate through those BS, I forgot, you know, like word salad, those stupid words how they form it up legally. And I'm like, oh, okay, I know how to do that. Oh yeah, I could get that, you know, saying or whatever. Because, you know, on the phone you keep in text messages and Facebook stuff like that all the time. So that's part 2, is focusing on the best interest of child factors. Number 3 is, we'll speak on, but it's not going to be that long. It's basically seeking legal aid, seeking legal counsel, and opening a case to increase physical timeshare. Now, we'll talk about the process and how you're supposed to present to her, how you're supposed to mention it to her to say, hey, look, why don't we just go ahead and do a 50-50 and have it established to where this where things are on paper and we have more of a schedule outside of here, there. She's likely to tell you no or whatever, but we'll get into how to present that and what to do after that. You don't necessarily need an attorney, but some people just aren't fit to do those type of things and may feel better about being able to show that they got more time, finesse more time back from her, and being able to build a case through that time, and then get the attorney and saying, hey, look, here's all this information. And I'll show you examples of doing that, and then having an attorney present that, making sure that attorney knows what you want to be able to get 50-50 joint physical timeshare or more. All right, I hope that makes sense. Hey, I got a short little clip for you. All right, and you need to listen to this because this is the crux of making sure non-custodial parents, non-custodial fathers, non-custodial parents in general, but there was a men, non-custodial parents, when the child is born. You need to listen to this. This is the crux of child custody. What they don't teach fathers, unwed fathers, to do to keep themselves in the best position. So if they break up, they won't be an every other weekend father. This is very important. All right. So thanks for checking it out. Another episode of Flawless Fatherhood. Remember, guys, I don't charge you guys anything for this. I'm doing this because it's a passion. I know some people that do. Hey, man, teach his own. But look, I would like to get to a spot where, I have a studio, I'll be able to go live and things like that. I would like to be able to do that. But guess what? Until then, I got my freaking phone here, a little tripod, and a little glitz glamour with a little lights in the background. I'm passionate about this, and I'm glad that you guys can watch my videos. Please remember to press like. That's very important. As you guys see, I cut a video in a heartbeat. I took a little time off. You know what I'm saying? Because look, if I sit back and make a video, these things take time. Got to do a little bit of editing and stuff like that. I want to be able to see something back. If I see 70, 80 views, but I only see like 4 or 5 likes, it's like, all right, they watching the video, but they're not pressing like. And look, I'm guilty of it as well, okay? So I'll watch videos, laugh, get substance from it, and I don't press like. That's the only thing I'm asking from you guys, all right? It don't cost anything, press like. My dog 50-50 putting in work, all right? Appreciate you guys. Flawless Fatherhood. Till the next time. Remember, for all of the current and future unwed fathers, it is essential that you establish paternity and get a joint custody agreement with the child's mother. Doing this legitimizes your rights as the father and secures an equal or adequately agreed upon timeshare in the event of an unfortunate breakup. Doing this will also serve as an insurance policy, basically, as it pertains to your child's custody timeshare. This will greatly minimize the possibility of parental alienation, child manipulation, or both. In closing, establishing paternity and getting a joint custody agreement ensures that the child has both parents in their lives. And to be perfectly honest, ladies and gentlemen, that is the answer to the majority of the world's issues. Now, check this out. The ideal time to start this process is as soon as the child is born. I call this the Flawless Fatherhood 30-day rule. As to which, it's at this time is when both unwed parents are at their most agreeable and truly want what's best for their newborn child, more likely than not. The system is not going to teach us this, gentlemen, but that's what I'm here for. I hope it makes sense to you. It does to me.